It was on this stage 15 years ago that 6 unemployed steel workers famously stripped. The full Monty put Sheffield on the Hollywood map, and it's now coming back to the Steel City as a play. But is the story still significant? Set in the home of manufacturing, a tale of friendship, desperation, and getting your kit off. Skilled manual labourers no longer having jobs to go to by the end of the 90s is not that much of a distant memory. But how has the situation changed now? Back in 1997, when the film hit our screens, Yorkshire was looking at 187,000 people out of work, 0.6% over the national average. Now, in the worst recession we've seen in 20 years, this number has increased by over 50,000, that's 0.8% over the national average. But is unemployment hitting the same sectors as it was in 97? Are our steel workers still suffering?
Engineering, manufacturing is on the up, because it is across the board, and obviously Sheffield's the home of steel, so it's quite good. But then you get your lower end of the market in terms of like kind of admin type of customer services role, where it's probably the same as it was before the recession as well. It's just maybe less people are recruiting. Somebody who worked in administration that hadn't, say, worked for the public sector might struggle, because again, public sector want people from public sector. Private sector probably want people that have worked in the private sector. So to go from one to the other, that's where people would probably struggle.
So whilst derelict memories of the apparent death of the manufacturing industry are still scattered around Sheffield, out of the ashes, advancements in technology have meant an engineering revival has risen. Manufacturing companies like Ancon have seen the industry grow. From just being UK-based, they now have more and more importers overseas, increasing competition and employment opportunities.
Early 90s was a little bit dodgy because a lot of people my age had young children anyway and just started out buying houses and whatever. And you sort of just went into work hoping that you're going to have a job week after, so it was a sticky period for about 3 or 4 years. When I first started here, I think I don't know how many employees we've got, but there were 10 of us, and we must have got 300-400 employees now, so things have changed a hell of a lot. Not only the rights we've got, but machinery and everything. It's a lot better.
Sheffield's steel industry now concentrates on more specialist steel making and, despite the derelict factories, it currently produces more steel per year than any other time in its history.
And sort of a little bit more booming. I think it's more on the agenda now for sort of government realising that it's an important part of the economy, and people are sort of keen to get into manufacturing again.
Ancon produces 2,500 tonnes of steel a year, supplying Europe, the Middle East and Australia. So prospects for our stripping 6 would now be a lot better. It was on this bench in the film that our characters decided to join forces and try and find a way out of the bleak situation they were in. But since the film, the steel industry has blossomed, much like the trees around me. Yet unemployment has struck other industry sectors really hard, so maybe the message of the full Monty is still as relevant today as it was 15 years ago. Memories of the full Monty are still apparent around the city, and now when it returns home, debuting on the Lyceum stage in February, these times of all-round austerity, the queue for dole money increasing, means its issues will connect with people across the region.